Welcome to the Intimacy Lab. I'm Michelle Renee, an intimacy guide, surrogate partner, and professional cuddler. We're here to talk about intimacy in a much broader view than what you probably think. Most people think about intimacy as sex. We're going to break that apart here. Welcome to the lab. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Intimacy Lab. I'm so excited that you're here. I don't do these very often. So, Jamie, you brought me back out of my cave of like rarely doing these. But the idea of meeting you in this different space was so stinking intriguing to me. So,
I like bringing people out of their caves. It's a skill I have.
Well, I feel I don't know, I'm having a little fangirlish moment here because, so I knew a lot about you. I think you knew a lot about me too before we met, but I knew a lot about you because we know people. One of the therapists I collaborate with is friends with you.
Very good friend of mine. Yep.
I have other people that are intertwined with each other. I read Dissociation Made Simple. Loved it, added it to the Cuddlist training because I thought it was really a great, if you're working with people, you should know a bit about dissociation and be able to kind of normalize it. What else? I'm super intrigued about a lot of your religious writings, but I haven't got there yet on my list of all the books I'm reading because I've kind of paused my book interest. I'm really in podcast right now and I have to wait for that to come back. Okay. But yeah, I just heard so many cool things about you. Everybody that I know that knows you just talks about you a lot. And so I met you. I'll let you say whatever you want to say about me, but I met you finally.
Yes.
At the EMDR IA conference in Anaheim in September.
We're blessedly placed together.
Happy accident.
We were neighbors.
It was so we had a lovely little cohort of queerness. I just want to say, like,
it's beautifully put.
Yeah, because Jamie was there. The book Queering EMDR was launching at the conference. Cuddlist is a very queer owned and run company. And so for us to be next to each other, I don't know if you identify, I'm pretty sure I could answer this for you. I don't know if you identify as a misfit, but I definitely, as the touch people in a talk therapy space, we are totally the misfits. And so it was just kind of nice to have like our little Misfit Alley.
Well, yes, I definitely, Misfit Alley. That's a great podcast name right there. I definitely identify as misfit. And what made that connection even more special is I've long been this rebel misfit person in my field, in my professional field. And even in the EMDR space, which can be a little more open to somatic things, I am a pain in the butt to a lot of people and ask questions and say things that are definitely in Misfit Alley. So it was particularly special to be there, not only because my company was launching Queering EMDR, a compendium anthology of different queer experiences of EMDR therapists. Well, no, I should say queer EMDR therapists. You know what I mean. You could interpret that any way you wish. But just to have this great community right there on Misfit Alley made it for a special conference for me.
It absolutely did. It absolutely did. And that's something that I'm drawn to when I meet a therapist. If they're a little rogue, then I'm like, we're going to be friends. Like we're going to either work together or just hang out together or whatever that is.
Right.
In the misfit realm of EMDR, I don't know if we've actually talked about it. You've probably heard about it. I've been holding a client through EMDR sessions with their therapist in person. Whenever I'm in their town, I get to join them for their session, and it is intense. It is magical. It is, as much as it's intense, it's easier for me because like I'm used to holding this client in a one-on-one space, and when the stuff comes up, I don't have to hold it all by myself. It's so nice to have their therapist there. And so one day there's going to be a case study on it. So hold on tight.
A lot of wise people have said we can heal in community. So that feels like a very good example of that.
Yeah. It's almost like what I would consider a weird version of psychedelic therapy, in that you go to such an altered mind space that it's super cool. So that's fun, and talk about like pushing the limits of what the general EMDR community, I assume, would say, because it's not my world, but I will say that is the conference where I've never been asked more, but what's the science? I've never been asked more.
I have a lot of feelings about that question.
I know you do, because I read your stuff.
Well, I wrote a piece recently called Therapy is Not a Science. And I say this from the place of I am not anti-science. I am anti-scientism. And that is a word that a religious scholar, Houston Smith, put out. He wrote The World Religions. It's a great text that we read as interfaith people. And it acknowledges the same thing, that if science gives us valuable inquiry and knowledge, and by science, I think what the people at the conference were asking you is, what about the hard science, the empirical, the things you can measure
research
with numbers? But even what's the research? It's like, whose research and what forms? Because qualitative research, which is designed to more capture lived experience, case studies, this can be research as well. Unfortunately, especially in EMDR world, which has had to work hard to legitimize itself because it seemed weird as all get out 30 some years ago, most of the Western mainstream. It's not weird. I will die on that hill. It's how Western knowledge and the mind perceives it. So, I mean, I think it's a valid question, yet it's science even itself just means the acquisition of knowledge. And there are more ways to acquire knowledge than specifically empirical research. This conversation is an acquisition of knowledge, is a sharing.
What it felt like is like, oh, did you want me to lay out all these areas of study like polyvagal and all these things and like connect the dots for you? Is that what you're
Okay, I'm sure.
You need me to connect the dots for you? Okay. Anyways, we should pause. Jamie, would you introduce yourself? Because probably not everybody listening to this knows who you are.
Well, we identify in many ways. Professionally, we are Dr. Jamie Marich, EMDR approved, EIA approved trainer. We've written 3 books on EMDR. We're considered a bit of a maverick in the EMDR world. I hate that word maverick. Why rogue? I liked your word rogue better. That's our professional moniker. Personally, please just call us Jamie. We also use the system named the Unicorn System. You can read many layers into the word unicorn. That is very much who we are as a person, as a collective. And the Jamie part of us, as we often say, thinks a lot of the field we're in has just missed the mark and is bullshit in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And feel that we've lost our essence and connection to what you're so good at, which is, look, it's right behind you, human connection and healing through relationship. And another hat or horn, so to speak, that we're wearing lately is we're also an interfaith seminary student right now. We're scheduled to get ordained in the fall of 2026 in interfaith ministry. We're doing a pretty intense program right now that is absolutely filling our soul, in that it is very affirming and very uplifting and does help expand this inquiry of knowledge to not just the realm of things that can be measured, yet also to the realm of things that can be mysterious and maybe not so easily explained by the laws of science.
Sure. Well, I will say I don't get to read every one of your Substacks.
It's okay. I would expect everybody do.
So often they just get left unread in my email inbox because I want to go back to them. But what usually pulls me in is that we do have a few overlapping friends and colleagues that will then repost it. And I'm like, oh, I really better get to that one.
Yes.
Right.
Cool.
Akila Riley Richardson, if she shares something of yours, I'm on it.
Love it.
Yeah, we have a lot of overlap, you and me, that we didn't realize. I think, didn't we decide that we were at Akila's birthday party together and we didn't even realize it?
Yeah,
because we didn't know of each other at the time. Yeah. So interesting. I love this world. And I hate it.
I do too. So I'm going to put out an idea that will rub some people the wrong way, admittedly. But I think doing any work as a therapist, as a helping professional, as a facilitator, as working in ministry, you can develop this sense of both loving people to death and also being incredibly burned out by people and the world. And it is okay. Many things can be true at the same time.
Yeah. And I think as I start to like unpeel and discover my own neurodivergence,
Lovely.
I'm putting together some of those pieces of like the injustice or like these different things that I get very caught up and passionate about. And I see where it shows up in our world. So I'm going to take a deep breath, Michelle. We don't need to go down that road. We're here for fun today.
Another episode.
No, if I have you on another episode, gosh, the things we could probably do many, because I was actually in conversation with one of our mutuals recently, and we were in a talk about religion, and they were like, I would love to see you discuss this with Jamie. And I was like, yeah, it would be really fascinating to me. So one of these other days, and again, maybe it's over drinks at another.
We do it to celebrate my ordination later.
Oh my gosh, yes, please invite me.
Great, like Jamie's ordination celebration.
Yeah, you're Ohio, right? Is that where you're based?
In Ohio, right by the PA border. But yes.
Ohio. Oh, great. Yeah. You know, I was raised in Michigan, so I'm raised to hate Ohio.
Of course, our DNA, yet we can overcome that. May that be a lesson.
But I love a good Buckeye at Christmas. Like, anyways.
Excellent.
Okay. So here's the fun thing, audience, is that when I introduced, I don't remember how it came up that I had a podcast, but you were like, I want to come on. And I was like, I should caveat this. I talk about lots of different varieties of topics. Many of my episodes run into the kind of not safe for work zone. And I don't want somebody doing something and then like regretting that they've attached their name to this thing and la la la. But you were like, no, I want to do this, and let's make it spicy, yes. Right? So we're playing the triple X box of We're Not Really Strangers, and intrigue. I can't not fully disclose. We have pre-selected our questions out because we are both professionals. And this is the one box that I get a little, every time I touch it on this podcast, I do kind of weigh my own privacy. And I am a very open person. Very open person.
Talk about that though, because I do a lot with self-disclosure now, being out about my own mental health status. And you could be a very open person. You can be somebody who's committed to the values of self-disclosure and authenticity. And you also don't owe everybody your story. You have a right to privacy. You have a right to it based on context. And so I think we're modeling that here, that even absolutely. As open people, there are certain things in this forum we will talk about, and other things we'll save for the next Misfit Alley at a conference.
Yes, absolutely. I am very open, and there's been, and I do, like you said, like I do get to choose we're all in choice, and there are some things I don't need to, I am open enough to hopefully inspire other people to take some chances or explore new areas of their life. But there are times I re-listen to my own podcast and I go, did I say that? Oh, there's people that come up to me that like know me in community and stuff, and they like mention something and I'm like, did I say that on the podcast? Oh my. Like, yeah. Kids. I always say kids.
I get that too, when people will say, you wrote this thing. And I said, did I? And then I go back, oh, I did.
So fun fact, I'm getting ready later next week, midweek. I'm headed off to AVN, which is the Adult Video News or Network. I'm not sure what N stands for. It's a big adult entertainment expo because I'm curious. I'm a curious kitten, as I said the other day, and I am going for the stories because I'm going to come back with plenty, right? But I'm going for free because I'm going to work a booth for a product called Dr. Tush, which is like an anal aftercare product. And I'm so excited. We have our Cuddlist t-shirts on today, by the way. Yes, Jamie, I collaborate with Cuddlist.
I got this as a giveaway on Misfit Alley, and it is one of the top 3 most comfortable t-shirts I have. So I wear it.
I love that. I don't have to go. I'm not going as a cuddlist. I rarely get to go to con spaces, not repping for Cuddlist. And so I'm so excited that I get to wear all my naughty shirts, like, and I get to talk about butt stuff for like 4 days. And so I'm just like, I'm so excited. So I'll be wearing like my butthole whisperer t-shirt and like, you know, athlete. Like it's going to be a theme. Anyways, so
now wear that to Emdria next year. I triple dog dare you.
Keely will kill me, I'm pretty sure. But
all right.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're gonna start in level 1, and I'm gonna. We approved a handful of cards. I'm still gonna pick one, so it'll be a mystery. We can come back if we have more time and answer more. But what are you most attracted to that isn't physical? And we're both going to answer these. So if you need a little time to think, you can think.
Vibe is really what can I expand then, or do you just want
you can expand all you want. We have as much time as we have. Like, I know you have a hard limit, but we can talk these. We talk them as long as we want
hard
to.
Limit, we're going there anyway.
I don't mind if it's not hard, but
so vibe, because I even say that in professional context as well. Like, I feel we vibe together professionally. And when I give folks advice on seeking out a therapist, it's very much, you got to notice that vibe thing. Like when you're dating, that some people may feel really qualified on paper. And I always say it's kind of like dating, give therapy 3 sessions to see if it feels like a good fit. And if you're not clocking that vibe, and it's interesting because even my friend who was really pivotal in me getting together with my current partner, she used the phrase, you two vibe so well together. It's just something I notice, and we do. And so vibe, it's like energetic thing you can't quite put words to.
Okay, so my answer is very similar. I'm just going to word it differently because I'm thinking about a very specific lover that I have right now. By the way, people at home, turning 50 has put me back in my slut era. I'm so excited because I was very much like, I don't even want to be around sex for a while. Like, I was going through a thing, and I am like, Stella got her groove back kind of thing. And some of it was because of this lover. I met him at a friend's potluck, and we had nice conversations, fine. But the hug that I got at the end of that, it's the vibe for you. For me, it's that energy. Like, how does it feel to be in your personal space, let alone have your hands on me, wrapped around me? So I used to facilitate cuddle parties, and there was an exercise in cuddle party called the hug exercise. And you would go around and ask everyone for a hug or not. You didn't have to, but you also wanted to give at least a couple no's. And I was doing it from a place of, who do I want to cuddle with later? Because that hug can tell you so much. And with this particular person, I started to watch the event app that we have in our kind of alternative community space here in San Diego. I started to watch it, hoping I would come across his profile. So I didn't get like his digits or anything like that. And then the next potluck came around, and he was there again, and I still didn't get his number. I'm a little slow. Like, doing the thing doesn't happen fast for me sometimes. And then just happenstance, I host a happy hour for mental health pros here in San Diego. And he was walking down the sidewalk right in front of the event. And I saw him, and I was like, stop, I need a hug from you, and we need to trade information. And then we don't see each other very often, but it's the vibe that I get so high on. I just say this, the sex is fine. It's the flood of oxytocin that we are able to conjure up together that is intoxicating. So that's it is the that energy that somebody has is just good stuff.
Thanks.
Good stuff. And I would even say this, and I say this is not a person that I would see at a bar and go pick up. But the energy is like, ugh, so good. Okay. Ready for next level?
What?
Okay. Shuffling. I'm not watching.
We hear you shuffling.
Okay. What turns you on the most about the last person you had sex with? And this is so funny because I told Jamie this is the one I really want to answer, and I swear to God, I actually drew this without making sure that I drew this.
Wow. I mean, my general therapist answer is connection, because it is my partner I'm talking about, and it's both a sense of bodies fitting together and energy fitting together. I mean, I could get into some private details that I won't, but that's my general answer with it, because I am definitely, and I'll share this because I think it relates to the dissociation contact we had before. I could have sex and put the dissociative wall up. Like, I know how to do that. I've done so much of that over the years. And I may still get some physical pleasure from it, but it's really nothing very special. And I feel often like I'd rather just stay in bed and read a book than have that kind of sex often. And yeah, but when energetic connection on all your levels are there, physical, emotional, sexual, for me, and sometimes I've had decent sex where like just two of them are there, or maybe just one of them is there. Like, it's not, I don't have to dissociate necessarily if all three aren't there. But yeah, what turns me on the most is when you have that boom, like perfect fusion of the three.
Yeah.
So, and I'll give you this one more thing too. Like,
yeah.
Because I just want to normalize this. And I can experience that with people of a variety of body types. Like, I like dad bods. I do. Yeah. Just putting that out there. So what about you? What's your answer?
Well, I want to say to you,
I'm going to take a real quick pause in our episode today and just say thank you, listeners, for being here. If you are a listener of the Intimacy Lab podcast and you'd like to try going through some of these questions with me, guess what? I decided to make it an offer. You can learn more at intimacylabpodcast.com. I'm going to offer 30-minute and 60-minute options to get intimate with me. Join me on a video call where we will go through our own We're Not Really Stranger cards and get to know each other. It's a great place to practice. So if you want to practice getting intimate with your words, go over to the intimacylabpodcast.com and sign up for a call. Now back to this episode.
To riff off of yours a little bit, I don't know how much you know about my background. I'm going to guess you don't know anything.
You told me on Misfit Alley, but anything you want?
Yeah, my 18-year first marriage was primarily coercive sex.
Yeah.
So I remember towards the end of our marriage, which was actually the best part of our marriage, I remember the first time I wasn't dissociated during sex. I was like, wow, I'm actually present. Which is such a, like, it's a sad thing to think about. There's a little grief there.
Yes.
But then at the same time, like, I remember having somebody compliment me about how present I am during sex. And I was like, boy, if you knew where I came from. Right. But it's, I just wanted to say, I totally get the dissociation of and getting through sex.
And on this, I do have to have a sense of safe enough to be present during sex, for sure. And then when I am beyond safe enough and truly safe and truly connected, sometimes I'm so present it overwhelms me. But then I find that.
What does it? I have an idea what that means when you say overwhelmed. How does that present itself in your space when you're overwhelmed?
I can get very overheated physically. I'm also 46, so I'm in that perimenopausal alley where that is a factor in it. But even in earlier parts of my life, it's very much an overheated thing. Sometimes it's an out of breath thing. It's like, do I say this publicly? Yes. I personally have never really struggled with orgasming. It's just I am a multi-energizer bunny. When I get overwhelmed, it's like they just don't stop. So that's where it does feel very hot, and it's just one big
That's where
Exciting.
did you ever know who Betty Dodson was?
Remind me. I know this name.
She was the grandmother of masturbation. Yes. So I took her course, Body Sex, in 2014. Is like highlight, like this is how I got into my work, was that I found her right before my divorce happened. So I say she walked me out of my divorce. I really was focused on doing better with my orgasm. I was not an easy orgasmer. It's a weird combination of words together. So my focus was working on my own sexuality, coming out of a really unhealthy sex relationship, right? So like that was really important. And part of what, I mean, that's why I do the work that I do now, is really Betty Dodson was the origin of that. But what was really interesting is she used to use a phrase where she'd say, I'm a sex pig.
Okay.
And when I get in that space where, you're kind of rolling through the orgasms and I'm like, I just want to be a pig. I'm just going to roll around in this like a pit of mud, right? And just sop it up and be in all of my glory. Yeah. It's a good space. It's a great space to be. Yes. Love that. For me, when I get overwhelmed, it's tears. It's like sensory overwhelm happens, and I will just start crying. It's really fun. I notice it happens in like sensation play.
Yeah.
I'll get sensationally like overwhelmed, and I just start crying.
I can experience tears. Yes.
But I also cry after a good orgasm. So it's part of my negotiations.
I'm different is for me, I don't know if tears are a sign that I'm overwhelmed. I'm wondering what they are a sign of. I mean, often it's just like the beauty of the experience. I've had those icky tears too, but we won't talk about that today.
Well, I think I've already talked about it on here, but I had a moment where I had that, I was able to, in a sexual space with my husband, we hit on something that brought up the memories from my first marriage. And I just like timed out, and I wanted to feel it all so I could like almost like complete the loop. And I just curled into a fetal position and just bawled and let all the feelings show up. And he just held me because he's a delightful human being. And then we had really great sex after that. But got to clear out the old stuff and make room for the new stuff. Okay, so my answer. What turns you on the most about the last person? Okay, so I had to brag about this. I have not hooked up with a sex ed colleague in so many years. And I have played now twice with a sexological body worker. And it is, talk about touch aware. Oh my gosh. And like how he's also a massage therapist. And so he's so attuned and can read all the energy of your body. And it feels like the most decadent dessert that I could ever give myself is to see him when I'm in his town. So I am loving that. That is a good, a really great piece of my life. So what turns me on about this person is that he has that, I'm in a phase, I don't know if you even want to touch on this for yourself, but I'll talk about it for myself. Okay. As I've approached 50, now I am 50, but the last, I think 3 years, so about where you're at right now, I have wanted incredibly slow sex. I want incredibly light touch. And that is not how I've always been. And I don't know if it's that I just tolerated a lot of wide varieties of contact. And now that sex has gotten a little more complicated and whatnot, I'm learning to fine tune it. It started on a mushroom trip one time where I was like dialing the penetration, right? Like I was tuning a car engine and I was like, nope, a little slower, a little slower, a little slower. And ever since then, I've just really loved really incredibly slow touch. And he does this well.
That's cool. My response to that is I tend to enjoy the whole menu depending on the context. Now that I am going through some pain and some life change stuff, I do find I've always liked the slow touch though. depending on the context, because I like the variety, but I find it especially nourishing now when my body is feeling like a bit of
at the same time, I like a good squeeze and a roughness. And if you saw my back right now, I look like I just had cupping done, but there are these intense bite hickey marks all over my back right now.
Awesome.
So it's not just soft and slow, right? It's like, but on my vulva, that's what I tend to gravitate towards. So, so good.
Menu. Let it be a menu.
And an event. I also like an event. I don't like, it's not generally like especially when it's not my husband, because it's like you don't see that person. It's like I want you to block off a chunk of time.
Right.
Like we need like a lot of time, because it's a menu. It's a menu, and it's a many course meal. Okay. Yes. Level 3. Okay. We only picked out one of these just because it was hard to find one that would.
I forget what it is already, so I'll still be surprised.
Do you have a sexual soulmate, and do they know that they're your sexual soulmate?
Yes and yes.
Great.
I'll say right now.
Yeah. This is one of those things where I love my husband, and I'm so glad that he doesn't have an ego. And he is the sweetest, wonderful, most wonderful person. Because I will say this, he's not my sexual. If I have one soulmate, let's just assume, we know we have more than one soulmate, but whatever. Sure. If I had one sexual soulmate, it is a friend of mine who I haven't seen in years now. But there was a period of years where we would hook up once in a while. And it was like we were built for each other. It like everything just clicked so well, from the sex itself to his anatomy and how it clicked with my body. It was like, to be graphic,
like kind of complementarity. Yeah.
His penis would hit just at the door of my cervix, right? Nice. There was no, like, it was like somebody else designed this. And it was a very good time of my life. It was a very good time of my life. Yeah.
That is amazing. And to the whole thing of soulmates, I don't really like the term, even though when you ask me the question,
I don't use it.
So this is from a friend of mine who does a lot of work in the intuitive psychic space, studying of student of Edgar Cayce's lineage. And Edgar Cayce, the 1920s psychic celebrity, former Baptist minister, grew up in the Baptist world. Really cool stuff in metaphysics. He talks about the idea of soul groups rather than soul mates, which I think is something especially poly people can connect with, which is, it's not just one, but we tend to have soul groups or soul families, people we come into this life with who we have met before. In other lifetimes, energetic spaces. And yeah, even though like I adore the partner I have now, and that's who I said yes to, and I hope they're listening, he's listening. I will say, and I wrote about this in the memoir, like, and You Lied to Me About God, several memorable sexual partnerships that ended up being the most unhealthy relationships.
Well, yeah, those two are not necessarily the same thing. Yeah.
And I can look back at it now with, thank God that relationship didn't work out and I was spared of that and whatnot. Yet I still have good memories of especially what the memories are, what I learned about myself sexually in those encounters. And yeah, a lot of it sometimes is just the memory of what was shared. And yeah, so I have experienced that with all genders. So I think it's a great question and a great discussion.
Yeah, I don't use soulmates or anything like that either. And honestly, you don't know a lot about me. And maybe this is like catching up the listeners of my journey. I also have adamantly not called myself polyamorous for a long time.
I want to hear about this because I have some feelings on this one too.
Yeah. I'm in an interesting space right now where I think this weekend, this weekend I'm going to do some MDMA, and I think this is going to come up in some of that space that I want to work through what my hesitation is, because there's a part of me that clearly walks through the world as a very full of, I often said, I don't have space for more partners because my clients are my polyamory. Like there's so much that gets thrown into my work that I don't have the spoons for more than that. But I'm just loving some people so much right now that it's making me reconsider the word. It doesn't change how I walk through the world by any means, but I think I have an aversion to it because I've watched it from a place of like what poly is supposed to be. And I'm not a big fan of a lot of emotional paperwork. And so I've had this conversation a couple years ago. I coined the term I thought would make great merch that says, I suck at poly, but it'd be like a succulent. Nice. Because I want something that's a low maintenance garden, right? I'm not one to want to start with a baby seedling. I need you to come in a solid 4-inch pot at least, right? That has already gone through the growing pains, the root building, that can handle being left alone. I'm very, like, even in my relationship with my husband, we're incredibly independent people. I adore him. We're wonderful partners in the sense that we both are kind of like parallel play people. We don't have a lot of overlap in our interest, but we have a lot of overlap in what we value and how much we appreciate what we bring into each other's lives. Right? I look at some poly and I'm just like, well, here's the thing I don't want to do is I don't want to have somebody going, but you haven't paid this much attention to me and I haven't heard from you in 3 weeks. And like, I'm not that person.
Right.
Even though I used to be, because I used to harp on my husband before we were married about when we first started dating, I'd be like, I never hear from you. And he doesn't come, he's younger, he's 12 years younger than me. He didn't have a whole lot of long-term relationship experience when I met him. It was supposed to be a catch and release situation. I was just having a good time. Right. And so I'd say like, I never hear from you. And he's like, I talk to my mom once a week and that's my mom. And I'm like, you're not fucking your mom. I would think that because you're fucking me, I would hear from you. Right. Like, yeah. So
sorry, go ahead.
No, so I was going to say back then I was also very anxiously attached. I feel like it's taken 10 years in this relationship to where I am now, and this is part of this whole like thinking about all these things and also my slut revolution, is that I'm feeling so secure in this relationship that I'm feeling like I can start to take risks again, which is how I used to be when I first got divorced. I was like, something scared me. I went and ran towards it. Right. And then I got in this really wonderful relationship where I felt incredibly, like I was doing a lot of rewiring of how relationships can be. And I got to a place where I just wanted to rest and quit working on myself in a way. Right. And so to close, not that we ever closed up the relationship for very long, but I just felt like, why rock the boat? Everything is good. And now I think I'm feeling good enough. I'm feeling enough safety to start being risky. And I say risky in a positive way, not in a negative way. I just built my vision board for 2026. And the first word, and I had this word on there for quite a few days before I added to it, but I love the word sturdy is my favorite adjective for myself. When people describe me as sturdy, I am like, yeah, like I went to Sequoia in the fall and like, boy, do I resonate with those trees. And like, it's my thing. But I added to it the other day. I noticed what I wanted to add was the word risky. And so I put sturdy and risky because it's like an interesting, I feel sturdy enough to be risky.
Not funny. I think my association with the word sturdy, I don't know if anybody listening knows the TV show Archer. It's a great cartoon.
I know a little bit. Yeah.
One of the characters, Pam Poovey, who I so identify with, in her initial script, they describe her as a sturdy bisexual. And you don't even necessarily need to know Archer to get it, other than when I read that phrase, sturdy bisexual, I said, yes, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. It's a great word. It's a great word for the year.
It's interesting. I'm a sturdy asexual. How's that? Sturdy, sex favorable asexual, if we have to broaden out all these little sub labels.
Yes. But going back to the labels with like polyamory, for instance, I mean, I've disclosed this and you lied to me about God, that I've been in and out of various roles in the ENM world, ethical non-monogamy world, for about 10 years. And I saw a post the other day that just really spoke to me, that you can conceptually love the idea of polyamory and realize I just don't have the energetic resources to do it. And that's a lot of where I'm at. And I celebrate my friends who thrive in that identifier and in polycules and various relationships that are more specifically relationships. I just know I don't have the spoons for it. And I mean, I have been in places before I've identified as solo poly, as the bisexual, the sturdy bisexual, the unicorn, if you will. Yet when I am in a solid partnership, I tend to really just want to be focused, because I want to put my energy. And I write that in the memoir too. So that's me, but not judging that it doesn't fit for anyone else.
I think we're really similar there. I often say I'm a pair bonder.
Okay.
But like, I also love having a wide variety of ways to connect with my friends. Is how I generally word it. And it's just that if my friendships were like rings of a tree, there's some that are closer to the center of that tree than others. And usually they have the name wife in front of them. Like, I'll say, like, I have my San Diego wife and my Michigan wife and my work wife and my, you know what I mean? Like, there's something in it that's extra. People hear me say that, they go, oh, you're kind of like a relationship anarchist in a way. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Sprinkle of this, a sprinkle of that, if you got to put labels on everything. But I'm a huge fan of doing things the way that they work for you. Yes. And that's where I've been doing a lot of, like, I didn't grow up with healthy relationship modeling. And I get a lot of that from what I read and what I have to look around for it. And so there's this kind of idea that you can be too independent in a relationship. And that makes me go, oh, are we doing this wrong? And I look at Paul and I'm like, we're really independent, but we talk about it. I'm not worried that one of us is holding something back and saying, I'm missing something, because we're so separate in a lot of ways. Because we're also incredibly intimate, emotionally, spiritually, sexually. Like, there's a lot of intimacy in our relationship, even though we're very what is the word, differentiated, which is not the norm that society teaches you. You know, we want to not be all enmeshed, but boy, does Disney want you to be enmeshed.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, I'm with you.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what else you got, Misfit Alley?
I know you haven't, and I want to address the fact that I think it's super fun that we're in our cuddlist gear and we just talked about sex for like the last 45 minutes or so. I
love that this is probably the first podcast interview I've ever done, and I do a lot of them, where I got to talk about sex and ENM and EMDR and EMDR.
All in the same space.
In the same conversation. The views expressed by me do not necessarily express the views of
Same thing. The views expressed by me do not express the views of Cuddlist, although they kind of do. I mean, I'm not going to say, I think it's interesting. The platonic touch world has come a long ways in the last 10 years.
Sure.
Right. And, if we can't, this is how I feel about therapy. If you're with a therapist that is uncomfortable with sex, your therapist hasn't done their own work. Right. And so if they're like putting that in a bucket somewhere else so they don't want to address it in your space, like, that would not be, to me, it feels like not a great therapist. But I think that as somebody working in any kind of intimacy, I feel
Right.
totally okay in my cuddlist sessions talking about sex with my clients. We talk about it all the time because they know I'm a sex geek and they can ask me questions and we can talk about anything in the space. So I don't have any issue having this conversation with my cuddlist t-shirt on.
Beautiful. Love it.
Wonderful.
Love it.
Awesome.
And great. I have enjoyed hanging out and can't wait until we get to do it again.
I will message you and find out what your conference schedule looks like this year and see if we have any overlap. I doubt it because we're really paring it down this year, but I would love to see you either way.
I'm really taking a step back from conference world. I'm still on the fence if I'm doing the EMDR conference this year, just because I'm reprioritizing a lot of things in my life. So
same. Yeah. I'll tell you this. I had a moment at Innovations in Psychotherapy where I want to put my energy not into convincing people how interesting this work is, but rather put my energy on the people that are really excited about it too, right?
Yes.
They see it and they're instantly like interested, curious, want to know more. I'm done trying to sell to the top of the food chain about why, like I want a big stage, but I'm tired of putting my energy in what feels like the wrong places. So
I'm right there with you with my work.
Yeah.
Again, Misfit Alley. Yay.
Great. I hope this is like the beginning. Well, I think the EMDR conference was the beginning of a lovely friendship, but I look forward to next time that we cross paths.
I do too. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to comment, pose a question, or learn more about the guests often featured on the show, visit us at intimacylabpodcast.com. Please also take a moment to review us on your favorite podcast app. It's one of the best ways to show your support. As for me, you can find out more about my work at meetmichellerenee.com, as well as on most social medias at meetmichellerenee. Let's connect again soon.